Welcome, once again, everybody, to the Crusader Kings 2 Game of Thrones mod, but more importantly, welcome to a very dumb mod that I've been throwing together over the past couple of days as sort of theorized over on Twitch. We did a live stream a couple of days ago and came up with just the stupidest mod idea, and ever since then, it kind of became a beast of its own. So this mod should, in theory, be available for you guys to download as this video goes live, unless I find any sort of last-minute thing. We'll be up on the Steam Workshop. There'll also be a mod DB link available because Steam Workshop likes to break dependencies. So you're probably wondering, what is this magical, incredible mod that you've made? Arguably, it's one of my most technically proficient mods that I've made for any sort of submod, really. This is a mod based around a very, very popular character that anybody familiar with Game of Thrones will absolutely 100% know about, who's been in the game for quite a long time, but has been an unplayable character. And that character, my friends, is George R.R. Martin. So, for as long as I've played the Crusader Kings 2 Game of Thrones mod, which has been years now, there has always been a character in King's Landing who is just a Baron-level character, I think he's Commander of the Kingsguard or something like that, called George Martin. And he is obviously supposed to be George R.R. Martin. He's got the poet trait, he's a genius, everything else. I've decided that he deserved something a little bit better. So I've gone ahead and made a full-blown George R.R. Martin total overhaul mod for a Game of Thrones. Not only that, I'm playing with a massive mod pack of mods that I've gotten from the Game of Thrones Citadel forums. Those will be fully credited and linked to with downloads available, etc. in the description. So if you guys also want to check those out and play along with a similar mod pack to what I'm playing with, by all means, that will all be available there. Don't forget to rate and favorite mods you enjoy. So, where is Mr. George Martin, you're probably wondering? Well, we're going to take the start date back to roughly the start of the Series 1 of the show. Roughly the first book as well. This is obviously closer to the book itself. And we are going to be checking out the province of Rosby, slightly north of Blackwater Bay, not too far away from King's Landing itself being here now. Rosby, the Lord of, is George R.R. Martin. I tried recording this once before. I called him Lord Martin rather than Lord George. So, let's take a look. I've written a fairly okay, I think, tutorial that it shouldn't be too confusing. But there is a lot of new mechanics that I've thrown at this guy. And we've got a very particular playstyle, which you'll see as we dive into things here. So, welcome to a Game of Thrones. You're playing as a Kingslander, Lord of the Faith of the Seven, Lord of the Faith of the Seven religion. And here we are, Lord George of Rosby. Having recently acquired a small amount of land thanks to the untimely and unexpected death of the previous lord, you find yourself thoroughly bored with your interest in books and look to climbing the ladder. So, one of the big mechanics I've added to the game here is a form of mana, I guess is the best way to phrase it. Mana as in like magic, not as in like Imperative Rome style mana. So we've got here inspiration, and as it says, inspiration can be expended to write novels, which will unlock new abilities for George to use. To use those abilities, you will also require inspiration. In typical George R.R. Martin fashion, the best way to get inspiration, by slaying, destroying, murdering, or otherwise removing members of prominent dynasties. And I'll publish a list when I put the mod up on ModDB or Steam or wherever, of dynasties that count for this challenge, for this mechanic. But mainly it's just your big sort of Game of Thrones ones. I think I've done about 25 of the most mentioned dynasties in the books, from what I remember. And a few exceptions as well. So characters like Varys randomly thrown in next. Of course, he doesn't have a dynasty. But I feel like you deserve some kudos if you do get around to slaying, destroying, murdering, or otherwise removing Varys from the game. You gain monthly inspiration based on your learning. Learning can also be traded for new stats at the cost of monthly inspiration. So inspiration coupled with learning is your kind of two-part currency there. Also allows you to buff George up as well. And it says the mantle of George will be inherited, allowing heirs with sufficient learning to continue his great work. So if you die as George R.R. Martin, don't worry. Any of his dynasty members, any other descendants of House Martin will also have access to this new inspiration system. George starts at 54, so it's not all swings and roundabouts. One thing I don't explain in that tutorial that I really should in the future is that for every character we kill, we'll not only gain inspiration, but we'll also gain learning, and we'll gain some health. Because I think we can all agree at this stage, the only thing sustaining George R.R. Martin's life is killing off everyone's most favorite and beloved characters. And that's our goal. We're going to spread as much chaos and disorder as possible, but we're not just going to be map painting. We're not just going to be doing plots with intrigue. Like I said, with the novels that we write, we can unlock new powers and decisions for George to undertake at the cost of some inspiration there. Before we let things unpause too far, firstly, you'll see that we have the inspiration is tracked by this modifier on the bar here, so inspiration is 10. As months tick by, you gain a 10th of your learning as inspiration. So it's not going to be very high. Your average inspiration ability might cost you anywhere between 20 to 40 inspiration. Of course, we're only getting 10th of what we're getting right now, 1.9 per month. Those aren't rounded or anything. Those are just flat values. So we get 1.9 per month. As you can imagine, it will take literally months for some of the weaker values. Now, to also stop players just sitting around waiting for their inspiration to tick up, you do have to actively be pursuing George's ultimate fantasy, let's be honest, of slaying all of his characters and making people extremely sad. So, to fulfill that, you will have to go out and kill to gain that inspiration. When it gets to a certain value, I can't remember off the top of my head, I think it was 30 I set it to. When you hit 30 inspiration, which will give you access to some of the lower level George powers available, it will cap there. It won't tick up past that, so you will have to get the superpowers, go out there and fulfill the job of George R.R. Martin, which is slaying off, again, all these beloved characters. There are also some other mechanics too, but I'll show those off as we get to them, of course. So, George R.R. Martin of Rosby. And along with that, there's some stuff for me to actually explore for the first time, which is going to be a load of... We've got like the additional decisions mod, we've got the special buildings mod, we've got all sorts of crazy stuff thrown into this mod pack. Some of my favorite Game of Thrones mod also added into it. My god, look at all the decisions we've got. My god. Hold a tournament. Write a novel is obviously something that George R.R. Martin is want to do, but we'll check that out in a minute. I think we require, yeah, 30 inspiration for that one, so that's going to be a while. We've got things for micromanagement, so the first few months are very, very laggy, as some of these mods that we've got enabled sort of set themselves up, sort things out here. So I will skip over the first month or so, just to allow things like the manual guardian mod to assign guardians to all the characters who wouldn't have them normally. Before we do that, though, who's on the marriage list? Oh my god, look at the top of the list. She's... where? She's not in Rosby, that's a fucking fact. Lordship of Rosby, High Lordship of... Everything is called the High Lordship of Rosby. Not sure what's called... That's not my mod. I should point that out right. That's not mine. My hands are... She looks like she's in Torrentine. She's with the Danes. Daenerys is in High Hermitage? Not sure why. Well, anyway, we've got options for people to marry, so... This is added by the Bloodline mod, so this will just track any characters with a Bloodline with the trait there. So if we're looking for Blood mods, very similar to like the Artifact Search mod, for example, we can just type in Bloodline and find those characters very, very quickly. Daenerys at the top of the list, though, is kind of tempting, though, isn't it? George R.R. Martin marries Daenerys. That's really fucked up, because, yeah, she's only 13. In the book, she's obviously a lot younger than she is in the show. 13. Will they accept that? Oh my god, they will. That's so extremely cursed to start things off here. Alright, you know what? Let's do it. He's 54. If we manage to kill some characters, it'll prolong his life. It's not by a huge amount, so you will need to, if you plan on playing as George forever, you will have to stay on top of those murder plots, and of course, the older he gets, the more murder plots you'll have to do, because his age will eventually catch up with him. He's far from immortal, let's put it that way. This is fucking cursed. I'm going to do it. That's the most cursed thing we've ever done in CK2 immediately within the first, like, 10 minutes here. To the Honourable Lord George, blessings upon you and your house, I've decided to accept your suggestion of a betrothal between Lord George and Daenerys Targaryen. Oh, God. That's really bad. Okay, well, there we go. Lord George of Rosby already has his wife there. Now, one thing I have added, which I'll spoil, kind of, because I think it's kind of important. I wanted to make it so we weren't just map painting. You know, the Game of Thrones mod, when playing in Westeros, generally tends to be, let's get the Iron Throne. It always does kind of end up being, let's get the Iron Throne no matter what. So to avoid that, I've added certain powers that you can only use at lower tiers to kind of encourage you to maybe play small, if not forever, at least a little bit longer than you normally would. But to make up for it, I've also given you mechanics that can benefit other members of your dynasty. And of course, we don't have any dynasty members right now, so when we start stacking up some kids, I'll be able to show those off a bit more. But things to encourage you to build up your dynasty, because that's always the point at CK2. Normally, the easiest way to do that, of course, is conquest everything, but let's be a bit more of a knife in the dark. You know, we want to be a bit more of a sneaky character, someone dedicated to killing these people off from the shadows. So, choose a focus. I have no idea. You know what? Let's let those months hit, like I said, just so the game can dish out those titles and everything else that it has to start off with here. It's actually not running too bad to say that we've got probably arguably the biggest mod pack I've ever built for CK2 here. So what are we right now? We're a vassal under Lord Giles of Rosby, 51 years old there, and we have obviously Rosby proper. He has, what does he have right now? Oh, he's only got a castle in Rosby. Okay, fair enough. So he is our direct liege, and he is, again, the direct vassal there of Robert Baratheon. Okay, interesting. So we are his Spymaster, I would assume. Oversee the realm. Are we his Hand of the King? Yeah, Castellan of Rosby, with a hand, his hand effective. Obviously, he's not Hand of the King, so he's only a Lord level character. Interesting. So as Castellan, obviously, we can do various jobs there depending on our skill set. For example, we've uncovered a plot there, and then we immediately collected a tithe as well. Can't open this to go die off. Because look, he's got no successors. So if he dies off, we could inherit Rosby as a really early play here. Anyway, getting ahead of myself here. So George Riddle, Ronald Martin, what have we got here? 13.8 inspiration. So we need 30 inspiration to really kick things off. The novels are what give us access to our powers, and what novel we get will be purely random, based on randomness. Obviously, what we have already, we can't write a novel we've already written. That wouldn't make much sense. Now, another thing I've added too, like I said, we could trade some learning for some of the other stats. So we can open our studies menu here, and we can go into seclusion. We can put off writing our novels, as George is very much want to do, to go and explore the other aspects of life. So intrigue, martial stewardship, diplomacy there. If you want to trade away some of our learning, but again, if we trade away learning, we're actively taking away the amount of ticking inspiration we get. So it's all about a balancing act when playing as my man George over here. So let's treat this as a regular old CK2 playstyle right now. I guess you could kind of liken it to Relore with the sacrifices, or like some of the dark magic systems they've already got in the base game. My system runs entirely separate to that. Seduction probably couldn't hurt. Maybe try and get some Dynasty members out. My man's 54. Now, the base game George Martin does start with additional health. I've left that in because, of course, we are starting at 54. My man could drop dead any minute, so I figured that was probably best to keep that. I think they have him set to 8 health by default, but again, that means that we'll only really be playing as him for another maybe 20 years on average. So we've got to be very fast about getting our Dynasty down and potentially stacking up some murders. So we should immediately be looking for some key characters to wipe out from the game here. Go for that start with. How long till Daenerys can get married? It's like next year, isn't it? What she got here? Auto-educator set. So the game will pick a good educator for Daenerys at that situation. So this guy is obviously very good, just, kind, temperate, diligent. Everything is very good with that guy. Cool. I think we get to marry her next year. So it actually might be good. I was going to say maybe we could get business focus going for a few years before we actually marry ourselves off to Daenerys. That's still so fucked up, my god. Sure, let's go for seduction. I suppose it's no more fucked up than Jorah, is it? And he was a bit weird. Okay, and then along with that, build a war chest, get an honorary title. That might not be too bad. Get ourselves, you know, a foot in the door in the round. We're a relatively minor, inconsequential lord right now. Rosby is a pretty big province, but again, we are basically in no one. We're quite far detached from Robert Baratheon. Even then, we're only as close as we are because there is no Lord Paramount of the Crown Lands. That obviously defaults to the king. One thing I do like here, I'm not sure if this is base game Game of Thrones anymore, whether one of the submods is doing this, but King's Landing and the Red Keep are split off. So it used to be that the Red Keep was a part of King's Landing, and of course you'd have like the Red Keep, and then eventually you get to Flea Bottom. Now it's just one big city led by the Gold Cloaks, and then instead you've got your keep as a separate thing. So it's all just the various towers here. So Kitchen Keep, the Maiden Vault, the Black Cells, and then the Sept of the Red Keep itself. That's really cool. I like that change. All right, let's go for an honorary title then. Let's try and make a name for ourselves early on here outside of murder. Now, we want to obviously win some people over. Maybe winning Robert Baratheon over would obviously help us out quite a lot, because if we do get caught murdering and killing just about everybody, we're going to make a lot of enemies, especially as the enemies that we're trying to, or the people we're trying to kill, are people in high places. So if we're going for House Aaron, obviously we kind of want to make some friends with the crown. I think it's trying. Bear in mind, he can give us a royal pardon and things like that. So maybe swaying Robert wouldn't be a bad idea. And I mean, it's not like he's too far away either. Just down the Blackwater a little bit. Can we sway him? Let's sway Robert Baratheon then. Sway King Robert. See who's the educating? Rob and Arya right now. Oh, because I guess Eddard is down in King's Landing. Again, this is obviously the start of Season 1 there too. And let's make a good name for George this early on. Let's start performing charity. Make him seem like a big, magnanimous, not completely psychopathic old man. Right, designate Regent's bodyguards. When we've got all this stuff done, we can focus on our main gameplay stuff. So, I want to check out the societies, because bear in mind George Riddle here starts as Erudite. That, I believe, gives us access to the Citadel straight away, doesn't it? So we've got Citadel, Alchemist Guild, Court of the Stranger, whoa. We've got the Old Way, Dothraki Riders, Free Folk, Skin Changers, and then, of course, our other ones here, too. You've got a crow on your shoulder. Whoa, what is going on here? One with the weirwoods. Oh, it's a three-eyed crow. Right, got it. The character has chosen to seat themselves on a throne of living weirwood roots, becoming one with them to preserve their own life until another green seer can emerge. Not die of old age, yet they slowly lose the hold of their identity, and they cannot stir from their eerie throne. Wow, that's really cool. 5,000% fertility, health plus 10, so essentially immortal. Wildling old gods, regular old gods, and same trait opinion is pretty massive there. It's also a green seer. I assume he has Targaryen blood. Because the three-eyed crow, obviously, in lore, is a bastard of House Targaryen. Okay, that's cool. Blood of the green seer. Wow, look at that. Characters become skin changes, mystic. I assume there's no way to breed this guy. You know what? We've got enough creepy old man breeding going on for one series, at least for one episode. And the map mod 2 is, of course, the In Heaven's graphical overhaul mod. There is a compatibility patch for that, and the Game of Thrones available on the system. Like I said, all the other submods that I'm running in this mod pack will be available with download links and credits in the description. We removed the Far East too, because I figured we've already got so much stuff going on, I didn't want to push the game to its absolute limits here. And here we go. The Cursed Marriage. Master Illyrio of Pensos is offering to, is saying yes to allowing us to marry Daenerys. He's not up for it. Base reluctance is -3. Of course, he was Gerald Darkstar or whatever that actually arranged it, but he is against it, but he will honor it because he is a good man. You're a good man. Thank you. To the great scholar George, your wisdom and mercy legendary, I accept your suggestion that George R.R. Martin and Daenerys get married. That's really not fucking good. That's just awful. She's actually a really good character, and in fact, we could take over her education, because our character's a genius, don't forget. So, let's go ahead, and if I go toggle Manual Guardian, I actually don't know how this works. So, Auto-Educator set, so we want to toggle that off, don't we? Toggle Manual Education and Manual Guardian. Player Managing, and it's good. Okay, cool. So, this is one of the mods we've got that basically makes the AI to add a little bit of difficulty, but also to add a little bit more sense to things. Allows the AI to automatically manage the characters that they're educating a bit more effectively. The mod will kind of handle it bit better than the base game will, let's put it that way. So, Guardians are a bit more sensibly chosen, as we've seen Daenerys actually had a pretty good Guardian there. So we'll try and educate her ourselves as well, seeing as we are genius and patient and whatever else, gluttonous and slothful. Not fantastic, but it's not too bad overall. Okay, that's fucked up. Can we host a wedding feast as well? Because we've just got, how do we do that? Can we not host a wedding feast because we're only a minor lord? Which I'm not entirely sure how you do that now. It used to be you start right-click on your character, right, and host a wedding feast from there. Oh, maybe it's because we're at war, because you can't... Right, Peasant Revolt for High Heart. Hopefully that ends relatively soon then, so that we can... Holy shit, Lord George, I've decided to give you the honor of awarding you to Master of the Hunt. Master of Food may be appropriate, Master of the Hunt maybe not. You hereby gain precedent at all hunts. Signed, Lord Giles of House Rosby. Thank you, my lord. Much appreciated. Gained an honorary title there, fucking great. Okay, I guess we want to have a son. Oh, God. Oh, Peasant Revolt's ended. So can we now host a wedding feast? No? Oh, I wonder if they've changed the way that works. That's a shame. Doesn't really matter too much. We can hold a regular feast, I assume, from here as well. God, that's too much. There's too much already. Help me. Go on at all. We'll mark that as special interest, because doing that one, although it is kind of dangerous, we should probably do that as soon as possible. Choose a patron aspect, so one of the 7. The father, so gain diplomacy, lose martial. Obviously, intrigue would be kind of relevant for us. Intrigue, all learning. Dedicated to the mother, dedicated to the warrior. The maiden gives health but lower fertility. That also might not hurt, given that our guy's banging on a bit here. Dedicated to the smith for stewardship and minus intrigue. Dedicated to the crone for stewardship and learning. And there is one last, the stranger, that gives us intrigue and lower diplomacy. The stranger who governs death and the unknown. I feel like if anybody is a perfect representation of the stranger, that would be George R.R. Martin. So we're going to go for that one. We can also set our house words. Oh, you know I got to do it. Okay, what are the house words of House Martin? How about it'll be out soon. It'll be out soon. Perfect. I should probably capitalize that because these are house words after all. Excellent. Not quite as good as Cake and Wine from our previous series, although that one would kind of also be appropriate for George, I guess. All right, so what are we looking at in terms of inspiration then? 30.9. Nice. Okay, so just from letting things tick along here, granted we wasted a couple of years already, actually. 1 year already. We've ticked up enough inspiration to be able to write our first novel, and this can take a random amount of time. I could have made it take a set amount of time, but I thought, who the hell is George R.R. Martin to stick to schedules, huh? So, go into seclusion for an unpredictable period of time and attempt to write a new novel. The winds of winter and spring and summer, you decide to undertake the absurdly monumental task of writing a novel. A feat undertaken by only the most ambitious and brave of men. Self-doubts begin to rise deep within your very soul. What if you're not about to finish the novel? This won't take long, I'm sure. Or maybe I'll take another holiday first. So we will, of course, start writing our novel. This doesn't throw you into seclusion or anything, just as writing a book in the base game wouldn't throw you into seclusion or anything like that. That can take years. Genuinely. Sorry? What a fucking plot twist. Tywin was poisoned to death with the orders of King Robert Baratheon. Oh, right. So Tone was imprisoned. He was found plotting against the crown. He was in prison, lost a trial by combat, and then Robert Baratheon had him poisoned to death. Ah, wow. No, keep informing me about trials by combat. That was actually kind of a cool one. So is that on his kill list now? What have we got here? Robert Baratheon. Yep. Lord Paramount Tywin. What a big one. He's got Rhaegar as well there. Alan Tarly, Mark of Gold Sound. That's quite cool. There's a lot of attention to detail going into that. Wow. Okay. Well, things have already been shaken up. Obviously, of course, House Lannister is one of the houses which, if we can get some assassinations off, will fuel our own inspiration here. I can't talk today. I've tried to do this video about 15 times, and every single time I've screwed it up. So, hey, we're just going to settle into the new character of George Riddle Ronald Martin here. So, who can we plot to kill then? Let's at least fire one of those events off and get some points in the bag. We might as well be plotting against someone, right? It's a case of finding someone who actually counts for what we've got going on. Let's search realm. What about, like, Oster Tully? He's a bit too powerful. Even with our high intrigue, obviously assassinating any of these characters is going to be quite difficult. Someone wants to kill Eddard. 89.3%. We might be able to kill off Eddard Stark. What about Lord Robin Aaron? 49.7. Stannis? 47.9. Wow, okay. We need to work on our intrigue a lot, but first, 60% against Renly. Balon Greyjoy, nothing. High Septum, nothing either. Okay, House Manderley probably counts, from what I remember. Still nothing. Man, it's going to be a hard one. And weirdly enough, out of all the ones we've looked at here, Eddard Stark counts as one of the most prolific people to try and kill off here. Let's do it. Of all the characters I was expected to kill off straight away, Eddard Stark was at the bottom of my list. So we're going to have to send some bribes out here, of course. Godric of Langwood Fall, get in here. Janos Slint, let's invite him. Man, we've got a lot of people we can bribe. The High Septum wants him dead. Oh my god, so bet he's in King's Landing, isn't he? So they have no concept of Northern Honor or anything like that in King's Landing. Holy shit. Okay, fair enough. Let's sort by plot power then and see if we can invite a couple more people in here. Join me. Who else we got? 8% from Manfred. He's probably also a fairly cheap one to bribe here. Yeah, 15 gold for 40 opinion. Welcome aboard. Gilbert, Sir of Farring Cross. Gilbert Godfrey, from what I remember. Gilbert Farring, sorry, my bad. Right, okay. No money, but that alone might be enough to kickstart things here. 119%. And we're going to sway Robert. Try and escape our crimes a little bit, I think. Okay, let's also get our Spy Master. Now, having a good Spy Master is going to be paramount to the success of this series, too. So why don't we take a look here for a skilled man who'd like to join our court. Varys is available, but is not interested in joining us here. 23. Valar Sarwick, a Westerman. Yeah, get him on board. Look at this guy. Holy shit. Let's get him on board. You, I need to recruit you to help me slay. We actually did try and win over Robert a little bit there, too. Just help me to try and slay Eddard Stark. Okay, build a spy network. 11.5%. Wow, we actually might pull this off. We're Peter Baelish now. Lord George, a great melee in the northern tradition is to be held in Winterfell. I hereby invite you to attend so that you can witness the fighting prowess firsthand. I should go to Winterfell. I will not much pointless fights, so we're never fighting in melee. We go to Winterfell and watch. I mean, we don't have to. I don't know if we want to do that, though, do we? I might say no. Just because we've got so much stuff to focus on already. Plus, we haven't had a kid yet either, Daenerys, if you don't mind. Does she like us? That's not much of a surprise, is it? Not much of a surprise. All right, a guy enough to be like a great-great-grandfather in medieval times, obviously, or, you know, depending on from where you're from in the UK, is marrying her. I don't think that's not the best way to foster a good relationship. Go to Winter. No, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna turn him down. Oh shit! I completely forgot about that mechanic. Lord George, it's come to the council's attention. You're harbouring Daenerys Targaryen, exile enemy of the Ram. You are hereby commanded to hand her over to judgment or face the consequences. Well. What if we say I have no choice and then ransom her back? Because we'll still be married. Never. You shall declare war on King Robert, pressing Daenerys Targaryen's claim. I'll say I have no choice. She's imprisoned. Ransom her. Excuse me. Can I offer to ransom prisoner? How do I do this? Robert. I seduce Robert. Hang on, what? Robert is desirable for George. What do you mean? Have you seen this man? How do I ransom her back out then? I think he just released her as I was trying to work out what the hell was going on. We don't like him though, right? No, we don't give a shit. Okay. Just a misunderstanding, I guess. I imagine he will just request her straight back. That's a bit weird. All right, never mind then. So she's back in her court. She's also older now. She looks like a person rather than a tiny child, which was a bit weird. Again, I'll emphasize that was extremely strange, but we did it for the traits, and we did it for the prestige and everything else that would come with that, and also probably because, let's be honest here, edit that out. I can't say that about him, for fuck's sake. What was it talking about? So, what I was talking about before Daenerys randomly got thrown back into our court was that we don't really need to take the intrigue focus or seduction in hindsight, because we've already got so many people willing to join our plot. Because again, it's Game of Thrones, you know, there's obviously all these rivalries and these complicated mechanics going on already. Business focus, weirdly enough, might be the best choice for killing people off, because with that gold, we could be bribing so many more people. This plot's going to fire regardless of whether or not we're studying more intrigue. You know, we're having a very, very minor effect from those extra few points there. Oh, no. I mean, obviously that's good, but, yikes. Face smiles upon me. My wife, Daenerys, is pregnant. Daenerys is pregnant. Lord George Martin, I hereby invite you to attend the Grand Tourney of Claw Isle. Sure, we'll do that. Not going to any dirty northern melee, but I'll go to a nice, prestigious joust. I'm going to kill a man. Was this count, I wonder? Don't have suspicious circumstances. So any characters that would fill our kill list count as people who would give George some of his inspiration. How are we looking? 30.8. So we filled that back up already. How's my book coming along then? Been a while. How many years have we been playing here? 2 years already. Jesus, and we haven't killed anyone. Please. Eddard was declared the winner. He's probably made some enemies then. I mean, I wasn't wrong. 132%. Oh, shit, we're losing a stewardship, though. Send Robert Baratheon some exotic food. I need that money for murder. We can invite him for dinner instead. 25 prestige. All right, let's invite him for dinner instead. Robert, join me. Come have a meal with me and Daenerys Targaryen, whose family did just horrible, unspeakable things. It occurred to me that my wife is feeling somewhat gloomy as of late. I'll buy her something nice. Probably like Fortnite, because she's 15. My co-conspirator, Lord Godric, has procured a venomous viper. Oh, hang on. We're killing Eddard Stark dead. Long live the king. And that is obviously us, George R. R. Martin here. I was happy to know that my offer yielded positive results. He appreciated my food. He appreciated the feast that we threw in his honor. I assume he didn't actually come and visit then. The snake performed its duty with aplomb and pumped Lord Eddard full of its deadly venom. I could kiss that snake. I was going to make a very inappropriate joke there about Daenerys. I could kiss that snake. Well, maybe not. Oh, sorry. I'll laugh like George R. R. Martin laughs. With the death of yet another person, you feel awash with fresh inspiration. There he is. Eddard Stark. His friends call him Eddard. Dead as dicks. Suspicious circumstance. And we got away with it, more importantly, so we haven't made any enemies today. 0.3 health, 2 learning, and some inspiration for my good man George. We're up to 40.8, so it's 10 inspiration per murder. And given that we killed off Eddard Stark, I feel like that's well deserving of that 10 inspiration there. Hopefully the health will keep us going for quite some time. Oh, shit, right. I should probably wait to finish her education before she went. Oh! A genius. Wait, she also gets the... Oh, she gets a drop of dragon blood as well, because it just inherits. Wow, okay. Monthly prestige 0.1. Dragon hatch and dragon taming. Obviously, we're not going to do anything with dragons here. The last dragon lords to survive the doom, the Targaryens, fled to Dragonstone. And now, through the Martin dynasty exist. Oberyn Martin. What about... What the hell's going to be the naming scheme for this series? I haven't even considered it yet. Mass murderers? Oh, no, that's not very good. Jeffrey Dahmer Martin. No, doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it? Oh, man, I need a naming scheme. Comment section, you're going to have to help me out with this one, because I haven't got anything off the top of my head that would be good for a naming scheme for this series. That's a tricky one. For the time being, I'll just call you... I was genuinely going to say, what's the female version of George? Is it Georgette? Forgetting that Georgina is actually a human name. That's cool, though, to actually get the dragon blood into the dynasty already. I guess we'll go with etiquette. And I love the fact that... okay, I'll peel back the curtain a little bit. It is supposed to take, on average, 3 years to write a book. So we could be sitting around ages, appropriately enough, waiting for George to write a book before we can fucking do anything. Which I couldn't think of a more perfect... You gotta admit, it's the perfect mod. It is so true to life. This is the most realistic Game of Thrones submod that's ever been made, except for that one about Superman. My lord, thank you for having me in your household these past... What? Oh, no, that's my... You anus. Okay. Let's find ourselves a new spy master, and that guy was probably the reason why we were able to assassinate Eddard so well. Have we done something to lose opinion here? Have we done something to lose public opinion? It seems like a lot of people... Like, our pool has gone, like, quite significantly down, and people who wanted to join our plot adjusted as well. Oh, well, anyway. Lucas Corbray, welcome. I don't think House Corbray. Also, that's another idea. We can invite people to court and just do them in our court instead. Invite them for a nice visit to George's house. Well, high diplomacy, of course, would come in quite handy there. Get them to our court and smash them over the back of the head with a candlestick in the games room. Something like that. What have we got here? Call court out of hiding. Who the hell was in hiding? Oh, they came to our court in hiding? Okay, fair enough. So, a good start for the adventures of George R.R. Martin. No, of course, any relation to real characters in real life are purely coincidental. This is quite clearly a fantasy-based modification for a grand strategy medieval game. It's about as detached from real life as you could get. Any name is just a pure coincidence. A man called George R.R. Martin who writes fantasy books and likes to kill off characters. Pure coincidence here. Walking alone on the battlements late one night, and suddenly you see this shining white shape appearing in the sky above you. Seems to be moving towards you, or maybe away. There's a strange sound in the air too, like a whispering. What's going on? What the hell is this? Mother appears to have been blessed, or strange how the clouds and winds can play tricks on one's mind. Sure? I thought that was the start of, like, the Comet event chain. Being on your religious council is not always easy. You have a huge amount of work to do. Is this guy not dead yet? I'm really hoping... I don't think I ever finished the thought on this, but I'm really hoping when this guy dies... He's been 54 for a long time. Hang on. Is he not aging? I'm hoping when this guy dies, because he has no successor, and Rosby is a relatively small duchy, that your boy... Well, it's going to be a toss-up between us and Cedric of Edgerton. I feel like we're the better candidate there. So... maybe your boy George R.R. might get himself a Duke-level title. Do we... oh, Lord... no. Oh, man, all get stressed. Obviously, we want to try and go for more kids. We don't lose any fertility this early on. Let's go take a look at my friends in Dawn. See if any of the Martells are assassination-worthy. Probably not the best people to go for, given that they've all got quite high Marshal. Sorry, quite high intrigue here. Oberyn, 26.4. Let's check out the Tyrells. The issue is there are Baratheons everywhere, so it's kind of limiting the amount of larger duchies, obviously, we've got to assassinate in here. Sorry, the larger dynasties we've got to assassinate from. 50%, 63.3 on Loras. Marjorie Tyrell, 28%. And then we've got Theo Flowers, who won't count because he's... oh, he is. He's... wait. Bastard. Prodigy bastard. Wow. Holy shit, I was fortunate. He's Tyrell. But he's a bastard. Oh, because he's Flowers, right. I wonder if that'll count. I don't know how my own mod works. Why the hell would I know that? What about Casterly Rock? What about Tyrion? Has he made some enemies? 21%. He's way too sharp to be assassinated by someone like George. 85% on Jaime Lannister. Do it. We will take out Jaime Lannister. Get me some people. Who we got? Barristan Selmy's not up for it. The Honourable Fool. Send you a gift. That might be enough. 104%. Episode 1, slay Jaime. Episode 1, slay Ned Stark. This is a fantastic start. Spymaster. God, I forgot how big the council were. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Oh, right, yeah, I've got it. Let's send you to build a spy network in, I assume, King's Landing, given that he was a Kingsguard. He is still, yeah, okay. Treasurer of the Kingsguard, Commander of the Kingsguard, Lord of the Westerlands. Perfect. Under what now with a who? Found an Assassin's Guild and... what? 500 gold if we become higher than a lord. So if we become a duke. Or, wait, lord is... Actually, I don't know whether... it's going to be a high lord, right? So, maybe it means this lord rank rather than our lord who's also a lord rank. That would be cool. George R.R. Martin found his own Assassin's Guild. Tell me that isn't the most perfect idea for this playthrough mechanically. That is pretty fantastic. You know, a lot of wealth. That's going to be tricky. I think the business focus, genuinely, for doing a big murder, the business focus might be a better plan. Also, can you... oh! Seduce Daenerys. The button that I've always wanted. I shall bring all my seduction skills to bear on Princess Daenerys until I have her wrapped around my finger, and hopefully other things as well. Let's do it. Leave a note to me by the stream. And then, what do you think she's into? Shy, trusting, temperate, charitable. Hey, Daenerys. Wanna fuck? Damn it, didn't work. Okay. Oh. I arranged for a scented love letter to be left on Daenerys' pillow, and in return, she shit on ours. And her answering missive in the privy did not smell of roses. Great. Time to move on. Ah, she turned us down. Fuck. Can we never seduce her again, then? I have the opinion repelled. How long does that last? Repelled. Oh, she dislikes it. Oh, because we turned her over to Robert Baratheon and then instantly releases and haven't asked for her since. Yeah, I remember. 33, 83. Oh, we got like 2 years before we can try and seduce her again. Shit. George, come on. This is ridiculous. How long have we been? 4 years. Of course his book's delayed. That is so fucking perfect. Alright, well, fingers crossed he gets one of these written soon so I can show you the mechanics before he friggin' dies, George. What a perfect mod. Freaking hell. Oh, wait. Georgina Martin got, maltreatment. She's got the flu as well. It's health -2 and health -1. Apologies about the short, small tooltips there. The Game of Thrones mod, for whatever reason, shrinks the tooltips down quite significantly. So, might need to change the font, I guess, before next... Let me know if that's too small, especially for those of you watching on mobile. Okay, grandchild of insect. Oh, right, because of Daenerys. Well, that's something we'll worry about later on. She's a genius. I cannot afford to lose her. Talk some sense into him. Oh, he's only got 7. Oh, he's terrible. As far as Maesters go, this guy's awful. Put some sense into the moron. What the hell are you thinking, you... Oh, that's a shame. To all subjects of King Robert, the inheritance of the High Lordship of Rosby has been thrown into question after the untimely death of Giles Rosby. He left no clear heir, so I hereby name Falsey Stokeworth as his lawful heir, signed Robert Baratheon. Shit. He's decided to remove him from the council on account of him dying. Don't really have much of a call for a Hand of the King in the afterlife. That's annoying. And who's she? Lazy False. I mean, if she dies... It would go back to Robert, right? Stephen Birch. Who the fuck is that? Oh, that's annoying. We might have just missed out on our... The king is fat. We might have just missed out on our High Lordship there. Bollocks. Can I get the breastplate stretcher? Anyway, we'll leave it there for today because I want you guys to give me some feedback. And of course, this is a mod that I can work on as the series goes. I don't intend on adding any traits or anything like that that will break the save game. So if you think of some good ideas, of course, feel free to chuck those at me in the comment section as well. I'll be looking for feedback on balancing, especially. Balancing is a hard thing to do when there's only me and a few people who I've entrusted this mod to testing with. So let me know what you think about that as well, and I'll try and sort that out for the future. If you got any ideas for powers, books, or George R.R. Martin related fun and games, then I will get that implemented for next time. In the meantime, though, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying a fairly dumb series. Shout out goes to our insane top tier level patrons making the series possible in the first place. As always, feel free to send me your Patreon house names. We haven't done it for a while because all the series that I keep trying to do keep fucking up in some way or another. So we'll definitely get it done this time, though, because it's always fun to obviously have the Patreon houses in Game of Thrones. Thank you to Gogolus, Roll2D1 Games, Shay, Bellex Strongbow, Deector Fritz, Orcswolf, and everyone else that is saying tier levels on Patreon, because I'm at the end of my list, so I'll get that refreshed for tomorrow's episode. Thank you as well goes out to Spirit085, Talar, Tempe, Don, Will Wade, My Name Isn't Dio, Trevor Sanders, Anchor, Tentacle Beast, Loves Trees, Cogsell, Hey, I'm Alex, Kamara Ishmael, Valkyrie, Jeebus Crust, and everyone else at Patreon as well. Thank you guys all for your support. Is Game of Thrones music still playing in the background? Or apparently Chinese music still playing in the background? Thank you all for watching. See you guys all tomorrow for the continued adventures of George R.R. Martin.